Welcome to another top-down weekly analysis. This is Peyton Pips. We are starting off a little bit differently this week, taking full advantage of TradingView. We have the 8 major currencies that we like to trade. Top left being the dollar, and then we have the euro, the British pound, Australian dollar. Bottom left, Swiss franc, the yen, the CAD, and the New Zealand dollar. Okay, so I kind of just want to show how they're all looking on a broad scale, macro scale together, and then we're going to drop them down lower time frames. We're kind of just going to talk about each of them. We can look at one or two of them separately, but really you can really see how they're all making very similar moves. Okay, the dollar is going up, and then it has a correction. Okay, the euro, the pound, the Aussie, and the yen, New Zealand as well. I mean, they've all pretty much done the same thing, right? The Swiss and the CAD are a little bit, I would say, a little bit different. You can see how they're a little more choppy. The Aussie and the New Zealand are almost identical, a little less choppy than the CAD and the Swiss. And then we have the British pound and the euro that are almost identical. And then, of course, the dollar is the dollar. So, but you can see that they all have very similar moves. There isn't a whole lot difference on when we're looking at the macro perspective of this. Okay, let's go down into the daily time frame. All right, so we are on the daily, and you can see how the past, couple of weeks, actually, even months, we've had a very nice correction on the dollar, and it has caused all the other currencies to move up. Okay, especially the yen and New Zealand dollar. Okay, and then Swiss franc looks very bullish as well. They've all moved up. The CAD is the least bullish, right? But it's starting to look like it's starting to pick up some steam, right? NFP last week on the dollar, it did send a bearish dollar. So you can see the last daily candle on everything is bullish. You can see the divergence here on everything on the daily. Okay, the momentum is starting to die down, dying down, even though this is making new highs. This is about to make new highs. This is getting close to the new highs, not quite yet. So the British pound to me is an interesting one. This is a little bit too close to the highs. The euro, the Aussie has already made new highs. Swiss franc is about to make new highs. Yen is a little further away from the highs. We'll look at that one. CAD is my least favorite, and then New Zealand dollar is my second least favorite. So I don't really trade the last two, but we will still go take a look at, we're going to take a look at the pound, really, and the Japanese yen, and also the dollar. Okay, so we're going to try to correlate these three right here a little bit. We'll go on to the 4-hour though and see what the whole market looks like. You can see on the dollar, the big move down, everything has this smooth move up with volume. Okay, you can see the bearish volume on the dollar, bullish volume on euro, bullish volume on the pound, bullish volume everywhere else. So I do think that these are going to start to continue up. You could look for bullish moves on CAD pairs. Same thing on the New Zealand dollar pairs. What I'm going to be looking for, though, is I'm going to be trying to see if the yen is going to slow down a little bit and make a correction. And then I'm going to be looking to see if the pound will go ahead and make a bullish move. Okay, so we're going to go into these one by one now. All right, so we know the dollar has been in this corrective form now for a while. Not sure how long it's going to stay in this corrective form. You can draw something like that. You can try to. I'm not the biggest fan of that. What I do like is this right here. And honestly, this is what I was trying to draw at first. So I like this more for a falling wedge pattern. So if we can get the market to come back down one more time, the bottom of this pattern, I do think that could be a really good opportunity for a move to the upside. So we are looking at the dollar. We're on the 4-hour time frame, and you can see this falling wedge here. And if we come down to the bottom of this wedge again, I will be looking for an opportunity to buy. It'll be a little bit too perfect not to. You can see that the possible fake out, it looks like there was this fake out and then NFP hit to the downside. So I'm personally going to be expecting most likely this bottom to fall out. So right now it has been holding as demand, but I'm expecting the bottom to fall, and we're probably going to see a smooth move. I want to show this on the volume profile. If we bring a lot more price action into the picture, so everything from 2020, from basically this whole bull run, right? What it's showing is the majority of the volume is down here, but there's a good chunk up here and a little bad boy right here, right? But everything else, not a lot right here, and there's not a whole lot right here. What usually happens in the areas where there's not a lot of volume is there's fast moves. And if there is a fast move that breaks and holds right here, one or two things are going to happen. It's either the market is going to take a quick peek at this and say, no, thank you, or it's going to come down in here. And what I most likely think is going to happen, I'm going to try for this, but I do believe we're going to see kind of a fast move down to like this area down into here, okay? All the way down into here, which is pretty deep, which it probably will take a little bit longer than I am expecting. But either way, this area would be a extreme macro fib area. So this is just a bigger macro perspective on a lower time frame that could possibly happen, just showing you all the volume that could happen right here, okay? But ultimately, if we do get another shot down at this area, I'll be looking for the market to come into something like this, which is an untested point of control. So the week that there was a lot of demand right here, a lot of demand came into the market this week, back in June. So this was just an area that has not been tested yet. Let's see if I have a weekly point of control right here. And so when the market if the market comes down into this area, we could possibly watch for it to do some type of fake move. And if it doesn't hold there, this would be the fake move, right? This would be the psych. And if it comes back into that, we could look for buys. If it does this, let's go down to the 1 hour now. If it does hold right here, okay, I'm honestly still probably going to play the downside in the form of this right here, something wherever it stops, that'll be where my fib is. And I'll be expecting, something like this. Hopefully it'll get to the 78.6. If not, I'll just line the 61.8 up with another pair and, let this come into here and then look for this move down into this weekly point of control, which lines up perfectly with my fib extensions. So this 102.4 is going to be an interesting price. I'm going to see how price reacts here. And then you can see a little bit of volume right there. I want to see how price reacts if it can get up there. Now, the only thing that I'm seeing for the bulls possible is this right here. Okay, so to me, it just slammed a little bit too hard. And we had this first impulse. It came into the 61.8, made the perfect move that we wanted, and then just slammed down too hard. And we're getting humongous momentum with humongous volume. So we're most likely going to see this leg make at least one more move down. So the dollar's at a very interesting spot. We'll see what it does. It genuinely could slip straight through all the way down. So we'll have to watch it. We'll have to see what it does. Now we're looking at the pound. Okay, so it's very much the opposite of the dollar in the way of the shorter time frames. But I do want to go start this off at the 4-hour and just kind of show what I'm seeing. We have a falling wedge as well. So the dollar had the falling wedge, but this one looks to me like it is starting to really break out. And it already is in a bullish market. So we have a correction, and now I think we're going to get another move at least to this area at bare minimum into this discounted price. If it's going to make another swing down, we're probably going to see the market come up into here before it does. So I'll be looking for this 1-hour play. Let me go on to the 1-hour. We'll make this red. When we go on to the 1-hour, you can see this shift in momentum big time. We get the shift in, or not shift, but we get the high volume. And we do have a point of control sitting right here. And this is from the day where it was bearish, and then it chilled right here, and the day that it was bullish. So there's a lot of participants right there. You can see right here, the market agreed at this price once before. So what I'm going to do is just mark this off as a bullish area. And if the market can come back down into there, I'll be looking for it to react. And the fib will confirm the 78.6. If it continues to go up, we'll just have to move the fib to adjust. But for now, it's right here. And then the 61.8 extension is lining right up with the 78.6 bearish fib. So it's a perfect setup, perfect lineup on the fibs. Hopefully we get to play that. We do also have an inverted head and shoulders right here if it comes down into there, with this being the neckline. So we would like to see this happen. And then if we get a bullish pound and then we get a bearish yen, that will be a very good opportunity to buy GJ. But let's look at the JPY. So it has been making higher highs since October, right? And I don't love calling reversals, but I remember back here when we were saying this could possibly be the bottom, and it kind of was. Well, now I'm starting to feel like this is possibly the top, right? We barely break the top right here. Okay, barely make a higher high. Momentum was not there one bit. So it's not every time, but a lot of the times there is an actual trend reversal. There's going to be divergence. And we did have that right here. Also, we have a lot of volume sitting right here. So let's mark this off as this would be some weekly volume. Weekly POC. So that means if we go down to the 1-hour, we'll be able to see some more volume sitting right here, which is a daily point of control. We're building a case basically for liquidity right here. And now we have 78.6. So if we can get the market to give us some confirmation, what I really want to see is I want to see it come down here first, because I do want to take that opportunity as well. Okay, there is a lot of volume sitting right here. This daily point of control is definitely an area where I see the market could react at. But once we get this move, right, we get this move, come back down, and we can kind of measure that move up. It lines up almost perfectly with these prices that we're looking to sell at. So if we get all of that, you know, I don't love when the market just runs up. The thing about this is if the market just makes one straight move here, the likelihood to just do it again, right? 1, 2, 3, that's very unlikely for a market to actually look like that. It really looks more like, you know, this, you know, and I need to see it wave out a little bit before looking to sell right here, or else this is most likely just going to keep going. So if we get the ABC correction, we'll be looking for the yen to drop. And if the yen goes down, look for GJ to go up, especially if the pound is going up. So those are kind of like the Forex looks that we're looking at. All right, we're looking at the indices now. We got the S&P on the left, NASDAQ in the middle, and the Dow on the right. And I have it on the weekly chart just so I can show y'all the differences in the structure that we're seeing. Okay, obviously they've all made a move down this year, but you can see how the NASDAQ is definitely the lowest. And then we have the Dow is up way higher, and then the S&P might be in the middle. So we also can see that the Dow made a new high off this, structure right here. You can see that the line shows up on all the charts. This structure right here was broken. These weren't even close to it. In fact, this one hit the 78.6 perfectly and reacted. So my eyes are more on, the S&P and the NASDAQ when it comes to the downside, but I still think, and really they're all looking good to the downside to me still, but I just wanted to show this weekly structure and how they're all a little bit different. This looks very bullish. When I see this type of move right here, I'm looking for the bulls to come out. So let's go to the daily on these and let's look and see what we're looking at, right? So you can really start to see how much more bullish these are. I'll put the same swings in, right, in the price right here. So when the Dow made this move, this was the NASDAQ copying that. It's not even close. NASDAQ made a huge correction. All the Dow did was this. So, and the NASDAQ or the S&P barely corrected. So you're seeing the strength in the Dow, weakness in the NASDAQ, and S&P is doing what the S&P should do. Is be in the middle of those two. So we're looking at something like this on all three of them. I really think our focus should probably be on the S&P just because it's in the middle of the two. And I say that because if the NASDAQ corrects this much, the S&P is probably going to blow this off. So I don't really want the NASDAQ to correct that much. The US 30 doesn't have all that much to correct. So I'm just leaning towards my intuition on this one to wait for the S&P to get up into this level here. But they all have this exact same really pretty opportunity that will most likely get to play. But I really want to wait for, like I said, the S&P. But they have the same look. We'll be able to assess it when they get there. Most likely won't be doing the trading the Dow just because it's been more bullish. But when we go on to, let's say, the 4-hour time frame, you'll see that they, had this little accumulation range, and they're starting to possibly break out of that. The one that looks the best to me is either going to be S&P breakout or the most bullish one, which is the one we should probably focus on is for buys is the Dow. So let's go to the 1 hour. And just like I said, this one has like the best breakout. This one hasn't quite yet broken out of this range right here. The S&P, it did, but it didn't at the same time. It kind of has, but it kind of hasn't. So that's why I like this one the best, just because it is a clear break. So we get a correction on the Dow, right? Let's look at the Dow. If we get a correction here, I don't think we're going to get this deep of a correction, but somewhere in this area, we can fib it out and boom, we'll take it to the upside. So let's do this. Let's fib this whole move here. we get this deep correction all the way down. In fact, we should probably just even do this because I don't think we're going to get that deep of a correction anyway. And then the extensions line up very close to the fibs. And some people are probably even going to take it like this. And if you did, that would be the target, right there. But I'm going to look for this whole move to come in and look for sells when it gets up there on the indices. So buying first and then selling. The ultimate trade is going to be if we do catch this move here and then it waves up 1, 2 like this. If we get this type of look on any of the indices, I really want it to be I really don't want it to be this one. So I'll show it on the one I want it to be. The S&P 500. Say we get this move, boom, boom, boom. Okay. And usually the market never really moves like perfect like that. But if it does, and these waves start to do this, I'm going to be a big bear in this area. So we'll be watching for that. And one thing I want to mention is the VIX. Okay, the volatility index, we are basically waiting for it to either come back into this area. Once it comes back into this demand zone, we'll be looking for it to move out. If it does get into here and move out, that's going to be the perfect setup to sell the indices right here. Okay, we're looking at the bearish divergence already looking to show up. If we come down a little bit lower, we'll already be set up for the bearish divergence. So this looks like a very good correlated setup with the indices. If the indices do, eventually get to those fib levels, and this is at this demand level, whew, that is a good look. And then if this gets broken, if this structure ever gets broken, prices are most likely coming all the way up here. And that will be a new low on the indices, especially the NASDAQ. Maybe not the S&P, or maybe not S&P, and maybe not US 30 because they are a little more bullish. But if this area breaks, NASDAQ is going to make new lows when the VIX comes up here. And that's going to be scary for the stock market. Okay, here is gold futures. I see the reversal pattern. I see the divergence, but the volume is just continuing to be too bullish for me to look to sell just yet. You can see this zone that I have right here, and it's a pretty damn good zone. It has reacted off of it multiple times on higher time frames, not just lower time frames, higher time frames. So until this zone breaks to the downside, I will not look to sell gold just yet. It either needs to break here, or it needs to break there or reach this area. So I'm either waiting for, the 78.6 around almost 2,000. So it's 1980 on the futures market, or I'm waiting for this zone to break. And you can really see it easily on the 1 hour. It's like there's no reason to short yet. The momentum is extremely bullish. These reversal patterns are useless almost when you can just read the structure and stuff. So we have the big momentum still. Momentum just popped out of nowhere, and we're getting volume with it. So most likely what's going to happen is we're going to see gold make a correction and then jump. Okay, I would seriously wait for structure to shift before looking to sell gold. It has been just doing this over and over and over and over again. So you really watch out for gold. I'm looking for it to continue up into these other fib levels. And even if it corrects, I'll be looking for it to make one move up. The only thing that I see that goes against that would be silver. It looks like it has a possibility for a short coming up. If it does kind of stop right here and make this move and gives some type of a divergence play right here, I'll probably look for a short right here. So that would mean that gold would need to kind of go more to the, I mean, really, it would look like this, gold doing something like this and getting a divergence look, okay, making higher momentum or higher highs, but the momentum not doing that. So we would need to see something like this on gold for that to line up with silver, right? So waiting on that possibility. I don't really trade silver that much, but if they both line up with the gold divergence and silver, you know, the ABC wave with divergence into the 78.6 with it at an area where we have definitely reacted before, I will have to look at that possibility for sure. All right, Bitcoin is, you know, been in this range for a while. There's not a whole lot of price action or anything new to talk about, really. It has started to maybe break out of a little mini range that it's been in for a couple weeks. But other than that, I see a possibility to sell at around 18K. But the volume profile is suggesting that if it goes almost any higher, it's probably going to start to rocket ship all the way up to 19K quickly. Once it gets to 19, 20K, I will be assessing my risk to the downside. I will be looking for the market to maybe chill right here and make another drop. I don't know if it's going to start to break out here or not. No one does, but this is going to be obviously a level even just right here that it should stop at. But I'm going to wait for that 20K pricing. Once we get there, then I'll have to assess the lower time frames. On the lower time frames right now, though, yeah, this thing is starting to move pretty swiftly from this area. So now this is going to turn demand, you know, we'll see. And we will probably see at least get to 17, looks like 17,800 pretty quickly. Momentum is picking up definitely. So this could be an opportunity on Bitcoin when it comes back into here to look to take this up, because I do think we're going to get that move, maybe even all the way up here. But this would be definitely a good area to take profit. Ethereum is going to be doing something very similar, right? You know, breaking out of an area. I just think that cryptos have a little bit more room up. So this is an idea, but most likely what's going to happen is we're going to see this thing just continue up. And there's the same type of gap right here. Ethereum hasn't quite yet broken out as much as Bitcoin is right now. So the Bitcoin dominance is probably soaring right now. Ooh, it's tanking. Interesting. So a lot of altcoins might be going up right now. Yeah, we're getting a lot of green in the market. Solana, 12%. So these are a little bit of some crypto movers right now. Solana and whoa, Cardano with a big move. So some of these are looking very interesting with these type of moves with the volume. Watch for some corrections and then watch for another move up, because that type of volume and momentum, you don't see it all the time. Let's see. And this is early in the week with the big move up. So we'll see if the week closes with this type of candle or with this type of momentum. If it does, then hey, we might have a possibility for some altcoin buying soon. Let's see, Mana. Yep, they're all starting to possibly look good. So let's go to like the total market cap. Okay, crypto, DeFi is starting to pop. Okay, here's what we'll be looking at though. Once USD Tether, because a lot of people are talking death of Tether. I don't think it's here yet. I think we're getting close, but this will be an area where once this gets here, I think that Bitcoin is going to drop. So we'll have to see what happens. That kind of lines up with this. So with Bitcoin moving up, then down. That's what I think could happen. That would look like this going down, then another high. To me, this thing isn't done yet. So that's it for me. I appreciate y'all for coming on. Make sure you give the video a like and comment on some pairs y'all want me to check out next week.